Now, let's face the truth. If in your IELTS exam you don't know how to guess properly, you are in trouble. But hey, I'm going to show you the sonic triumph of 5 skills that can help you guess properly. So without further ado, let's get started. So like I mentioned, I'm going to show you 5 skills. Okay, let's go. So skill number 1, what you really need to know is that guessing is not guesswork. So here's the thing, you have at least 20 to 25% chances if you just go into your IELTS exam and just go on guessing randomly, okay? But the key word is randomly. Now here's the thing, the way we guess, it's not very random at all. Because IELTS, they'll write, the multiple choices that they'll give you, they'll be very deceptive. They might look right, but they won't be. And at the same time, you will be eliminating based on your hunches, which is kind of incorrect, okay? So don't go eliminate an answer until you can bet $5 on it. That's my general rule, okay? So now, kind of like diving down into it. So once you start eliminating choices, so say you have 4 choices, and you start eliminating them and you're stuck between like these 3 options here, go with the first one. That's usually the right one. Here, I'll show you exactly what I mean. So here's an example. A student encounters the following problem on the listening module in a conversation about the chemical term amine, a derivative of ammonia. So in the recording itself, so maybe you hear the word, protonated, and you don't hear neutralized at all, so you can scratch that out. You know that for a fact that it's not the answer. So out of these 2, which one is going to be the answer? Boom, select B. And that will be the correct answer, believe me. Okay, so that's kind of like how you go about selecting between 2 choices. If you don't know which one's the right answer, pick the first one, simple as that. Now let's move on further. So selecting answers, okay, that's skill set number 2, and you need to know how to go about this. First thing first, what you want to note is, answers that have a scientific sound to them, you want to pick those. Here, let's look at this example. So read the statement A. To compare the outcomes, 2 of the different kinds of treatment. So that is what's happening. In the statement B, it says, because some subjects insisted on getting one or the other of the treatments. So out of these 2, which one sounds more scientific? Of course, that's A. So that'll be the correct answer. Simple as that. Okay. Number 2, what you want to do is you want to avoid extreme statements, okay? So because that will be the incorrect one. So here's an example. Bypass surgery should be discontinued completely. Okay, B, medication should be used instead of surgery for patients who have not had a heart attack if they suffer from mild chest pain and mild coronary artery blockage. So correct answer here will be B. You want to avoid such extreme statements. They are usually incorrect, okay? Now third, if you have similar choice questions, here's an example. Describe the author's reasoning about the influence of his childhood on his adult life, okay? Describe the author's reasoning about the influence of his parents on his adult life. So, when you're eliminating choices and options, and if you find 2 options like this, the answer is usually one of those 2. Which one is that? You'll have to read the passage and find out, but to narrow down on the options, pick these 2. Because usually if there are 2 options, they're trying to confuse you, answer's one of those. So there you go. Now let's move forward. Skill number 3, it's about phrases, okay? If you don't know what hedging phrases are, basically they are used for drawing conclusions, okay? So here's an example. Likely, may, can, will, often, sometimes, etc., often, almost, mostly, usually. So any of these phrases, And question writers usually insert these hedge phrases to cover pretty much every possibility. So they want to cover all different options that there are available. And often the answer will be, wrong simply because it leaves no room for exception. Okay? So that's the thing. So what you want to do is you want to avoid answer choices that have a definitive words like exactly and always. So try to avoid those ones because they'll be incorrect. Okay? Now you know how to kind of pick answers out of phrases as well. Let's go forward. Now, eliminating choices. So how do you go about eliminating choices? Okay, look at this. So if the passage indicates that, all of the following except, so first thing what you want to do is you want to skim for references. Okay, if the reference exists, scratch it out. Okay, because we're looking for everything except that. Okay, look for similar choices and scratch. Basically, that's what you want to do. So you have 4 options. Once you look through that, you find A, scratch it out. You find B, scratch that out. You find D, scratch that out. Answer is C. Simple as that. Okay. And if which answer choice does not describe, if you have something like that, or you have a question that comes like all of the following answer choices are identifiable characteristics except which, look for similarly worded answers, because same meaning, both incorrect. So you want to scratch those out. So if you have 2 options that sound similar and they're like worded similarly, just scratch those out. They'll be incorrect. Okay. So that's how you can eliminate choices. Now let's talk about contextual clues. So a lot of times, an answer, it can sound right, but it's not correct. So keep that in mind. It's all about, how the words next to it kind of like, fit with each other. The what, where, when, why, who, how, part of the question that matters. So what you want to do is you want to find for implied meaning. So what you want to do is look for statements and read the context it was made in. Okay. Try to understand what is the author talking about and what is the question talking about. Do they make sense? Okay. And then look for answer choice with similar phrase. That's what you want to do. Look for the answers that kind of like matches the tone of the question. So here's an example. The question is, why was John described as morally desperate? Okay, so the answer for this one probably will have some sort of definition of morals in it. Okay, because morals, they refer to a code of right and wrong behavior, so the correct answer choice will likely have words that mean something like that. So you get the point? Because this is something very contextual, the way it sounds, the way it is written. Okay, so keep that in mind. You want to look for similarly worded phrases, similarly worded choices. So there you go. That's 5 skills that you need to practice, you need to work on if you want to guess, at a very efficient level with IELTS reading. And hey, if you have any concerns, you have any questions about this, drop them in the comments. We'll look at those. We'll help you out with that, of course. And if you have any friends who are struggling with this, share this video. And of course, subscribe, because we'll be putting out more important information like this. Well, good luck with your exam. I'll see you in the next video.